So, what exactly do you do at Endgame in Star Wars The Old Republic? What exactly does all of that storytelling lead to once you hit level cap and find yourself, well, at the endgame? Well, in this video, we're going to answer all of your questions about Endgame in this MMO, if you're not familiar with it. But before we dive into today's video, we need to talk about today's sponsor, Dungeon Fighter Online. Dungeon Fighter Online is a 2D MMORPG beat-em-up for the PC, featuring retro pixel graphics, raids, dungeons, all to be enjoyed with tons of players around the world. Link down below in the description. Dungeon Fighter Online just got a massive new content update called the Archmage's Hall of Dimensions, which added new boss monsters to the game for players to challenge themselves against. Right now is the perfect time to check this game out. With over 60 class play styles to choose from priests to dark knights, Dungeon Fighter Online has something for everybody. Customize your character, dive into those dungeons and raids, learn your class's combos and style, get involved in competitive PvP, and be a part of Dungeon Fighter's massive tight-knit community. Guys, if you're looking for a new game to check out, Dungeon Fighter Online is the perfect place for a new adventure, and it's all linked right down below in the description. Number 1, expansion landscape content. What the heck did I just say? Okay, so expansion landscape combat consists of the main storylines that continue after the 8 main class storylines. Those class stories that you start with, they are intended for levels 1 to 50. After finishing your personal class storyline, you will eventually be thrown into the first set of stories, with a capital S, which are Rise of the Hutt Cartel and Shadow of Revan. Now, these adventures are going to take you from level 50 to 65. And before you ask, this content is free for all players, regardless of your subscription status. Now, no doubt you have heard of Knights of the Fallen Empire and Knights of the Eternal Throne. These are the storylines that are for levels 65 to 70 in the game. Now, just saying from experience here, guys, my own and the opinions of many, this is the area of the game that you're gonna really want to get to if you have not checked it out, because Fallen Empire and Eternal Throne have such a larger emphasis on player decisions, more dialogue options. You'll get to experience this adventure of many branching story paths throughout the narrative. This stuff is next level MMO storytelling. You have got to do this stuff. So real fast, pause. Like, why am I telling you all this? I mean, we're here to talk about endgame, not leveling. The reason why I'm saying all of it is because it's possible that you're gonna get to level cap, maybe, before even getting to some of these expansions. So you want to make sure that once you do hit endgame, you go and check this stuff out if you have not done so. It's 100% worth it. Now, lastly, the conflict between the Republic and the Empire, this is going to return full swing level 70 to 80 with the Onslaught and Legacy of the Sith expansions. These expansions also offer a mechanic called Loyalty and Sabotage, allowing you to work secretly within your origin faction and possibly even turning the tide against them. Star Wars The Old Republic has some amazing storytelling, so a part of the endgame is just getting all of that story content that the game is known for. And as a final note, everything past Shadow of Revan, like that expansion, it can be unlocked by a one-time subscription, allowing you access to all the story content for your account. And the best part is, to my understanding, if you cancel, you do not lose access. You can still finish all of these storylines even after a single one-time payment. This leads to number 2, world quests and minor expansions. Many players will play through their class stories in their entirety without much distraction from all those seemingly meaningless side quests in the various worlds. Who cares about killing 10 slugs when you're out trying to take over the Dark Council of the Empire? I mean, come on, right? Well, after reaching max level, you will have access to easily go back and play through the planet-specific storylines if you so desire. And there are also several miniature expansions that exist between the major story beats that are worth checking out if you missed them. These are usually tied to both a major questline on a planet, as well as a few daily and weekly quests that could be completed for reputation factions. These factions also have unique currencies and vendors and unlocks and crap, just to allow you to unlock a ton of unique items by increasing your standing with these various factions. The point is, at Endgame, if you're a collector type MMO player, this is the route you want to go down, playing through all these like planet storylines, leveling up with these factions, collecting their various items is great. I should also note that there are several world bosses that exist across the vast number of planets available to you, providing a really cool challenge that breaks up the monotony of doing quest to quest to quest. I mean, come on, man. Greater organized guilds could even go on to take on higher difficulty groups of enemies called planetary commanders, and usually these are located at the opposing faction's headquarters on most planets, and this grants you rewards like unlocking rooms in your guild's flagship. Number 3, solo endgame and conquest. So if you're somebody who you enjoy the more single-player aspect of an MMO, Star Wars: The Old Republic might be the most solo-friendly MMO on the market. There are progression systems in place within this game that cater fairly well to solo players, small guilds, and just tiny groups of friends. The main highlight, of course, being the Conquest system. So every week, get this, a new themed Conquest calendar is going to start, allowing you to complete specific game objectives and earning points. Now, when completing personal and guild conquest goals, you will earn gear, vendor currencies, and even crafting materials. The objectives for this system tend to be very varied, allowing you to gear up your character and progress your dude through the content that you most enjoy in the game. You pick, you do it, earn the points. It's a really cool system that SWTOR has that you definitely will want to check out. And if you decide to do Conquest with a more dedicated guild, this allows you to achieve higher tiers of Conquest and unlock rooms for your guild's flagship and guild stronghold, as well as unlock guild-wide perks as you level the guild up. Conquest is just such an awesome system for any type of player, whether you're solo or in a hardcore guild. It's a ton of fun. I've certainly had a ton of fun with it. Number 4, crafting. Okay, let's talk about crafting in this MMO, right? Crafting in SWTOR is quite a bit different from other MMORPGs. You see, in SWTOR, you've got these companions, and you're going to meet them throughout your class storyline in the game, and these are the guys that are going to be doing the crafting for you using a queuing, crafting, and mission system. Now, this allows you in many ways to automate your crafting while completing other content that you enjoy even while you're offline. This is one of the things that makes SWTOR very popular for many gamers who love crafting in MMOs, because your crafting experience in this game, it feels more like you're managing a business of workers rather than just doing everything yourself. I admit for myself, I like this, but I do kind of sometimes wish it was more just me doing everything, but maybe I'm just spoiled from all my time playing classic WoW. I mean, I don't know. You can use your companions in SWTOR to gather up basic crafting materials as you adventure throughout the world. Just right-click the little supplies and nodes that you find, they'll scan them, collect it, it's all ready to go for refining back on your ship. Crafting also has numerous applications, from stims to consumables, med packs, armor, weapons, relics, decorations, even items to help your guild in Conquest. If you're someone who is more of a crafting type MMO gamer, like I am, for example, the crafting system in SWTOR's Endgame is something worth checking out and exploring a little bit. The stims and the gear definitely make it all worth it, especially when it comes to our last point. It's the point you've all been waiting for, all right? Number 5, group content. Group content in SWTOR varies widely in type and in difficulty. It's very easy to find something within everything we're about to talk about that you will enjoy while being rewarded for it. So first up, let's talk about flashpoints. At Endgame, you're going to be doing flashpoints. Flashpoints are SWTOR's fancy word for dungeons. You know those small group adventures in other MMOs where people quit after one wipe? Yeah, those things. In a flashpoint, you will take a group of up to 4 players into an instanced mission, requiring this, small team coordination to clear various objectives and bosses. Now, difficulty in flashpoints is broken down into story mode, which is 1 to 2 players with some AI assisting you. Veteran mode, this is standard difficulty, accepting players between levels 10 and 79. And Master mode, this is what's designed for level 80 players looking to grind for higher tier endgame gear. And each one of these is more challenging than the one before it. Next, for group content, there are war zones, aka battlegrounds, and arenas. Arenas support 4 versus 4 combat dueling on these smaller maps. The maps, of course, having no real external mechanics or objectives other than just kill the enemy team, okay? Destroy them. Battlegrounds, however, are far larger. They require group coordination to capture, defend objectives. You've no doubt have heard of Huttball. I mean, Huttball's fun. Now, war zones are broken up into tiers based on player level, and all tiers receive a minimum gearing bolster. Now, the PvP gear that you're going to get in this game, this is truly going to shine once you hit level 80 in the war zones, just for the record. And third, when it comes to group content, there is Galactic Starfighter, all right? This is a very unique Star Wars The Old Republic feature, which offers players a space battle game mode to capture objectives or compete in team deathmatches. You can also unlock upgrades and crafting builds based on multiple types of different ships, offering this mode its own unique progression system. GSF, as it's known, allows you to pretty much fully upgrade through the PvP gearing track if you commit to this path. But last but not least, we of course have operations. Operations equal raids from other MMOs. This is where you take a group of 8 to 16 level 80 subscribed players into scaled instances to take on the most difficult content in the game. There's story mode, veteran mode, and master mode difficulties. These are all available for added challenge. And then there's, well, let's put it this way. There's a very small portion of the community that's able to gear up and complete the daunting difficulty formerly known as Nightmare Mode. Many of the operations that you guys are going to be doing, just like the flashpoints, they're going to have significant tie-ins to the lore and the storytelling on the galactic scale of this MMO. I definitely recommend you play through the operations, all of them, at least once. And that's pretty much it, everybody. Everything there is to do at Endgame and Star Wars The Old Republic laid out plain and simple in chapters. If I forgot anything, let me know in the comments section below, and a big shout out to the channel members for helping support all the MMO content we do here at Nixium. If you want to become a member today and earn rewards, check out the link in the description below.